Hi, my name's Nat. I'm from Perth, WA, and I've been doing comedy for about 2 years. So I got to be a part of the Comedy Zone. I got the call up last year. I was actually in Sydney at the time. And yeah, Gideon called me up and he said, hey, we want you to jump on board for this project during the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Gave me the rundown and yeah, I was stoked. My dream job was to be part of an all-Muslim tribute band called Quran Quran. You know, we'd sing Hungry Like the Wolf, but only during the month of Ramadan, so... Oh, it's great. You know, especially so soon in my career, I guess. Yeah, I'm really happy with where I'm at and how far I've gone.
You know, Nat kind of, when I first met him, like, I was freaked out. I was like, oh my God, it's like a young Sammy Davis Jr. I think I'm possibly the first person to point it out to him because he'd never heard that before. I'm like, nobody said you look a bit like Sammy Davis Jr. It's like, no, but now that you've mentioned it, I can see it. And now I think I've mentioned it to other people and they're starting to see it as well. He is someone I met at Perth Fringe World this year. And he's from Ethiopia. He has kind of grown up in Perth. And so I really resonated with him because I went to Perth first when I emigrated out from Ireland in 1990. So I was like a teenager as well, and with my parents. And so I really understand where he's coming from.
I grew up in Perth. I've lived in Perth my whole life. No applause, sure. I grew up in Perth, and you know, people that are always like, oh, you can't let boat people into the country. Some of them might be terrorists. They might do a terror attack in Perth. I'm like, good. Because you know, people rag on Perth for being a boring city, but the people are just as boring. And it's true, yeah. Just leave it to me, buddy. I'll convince them. You don't need to back me up. No, the people are just as boring, and I think the main reason for that is because they haven't suffered. Like, that's a... Sure. No, you know, that's a real thing. You know, usually the most interesting people are the ones who have suffered. How do you expect them to be interesting if the most devastating thing they've gone through was the great banana shortage of 2007? Yeah, you remember when that happened. Australia band together, arms in arms, and went, $20 a kilo, get fucked. I decided to be a comedian after... Well, I graduated high school, and then a friend of mine did raw comedy, a competition run by the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. And you know, he managed to get to the state final, and then I was just chatting to him and said, I told him I might give it a go. And he was like, oh, I don't know, it's pretty hard. And well, here I am. Basically did it out of spite, really. My first ever gig was at an open mic in Perth, in Fremantle, and it was something. It was, I basically just, I told the first joke and it went fine, but then I forgot the next joke and just blanked out on stage for about a full minute of just no words coming out at all. No, it didn't put me off. I thankfully went ahead and it's been going good after that. So I've only done raw comedy once, last year, and I managed to get to the state final, which was a pretty good achievement. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was always great crowds, always fun. My favourite thing about being on stage is telling a joke and watching a room full of people, I don't know, laugh their stupid heads off. I moved to Australia about 13 years ago. When I first moved here, I moved into sort of like a rough area though. Here's how I know it's a rough area. I could never tell whether the people who lived there were jogging or running from the scene of a crime. I even made it into a little guessing game. Fitness or witness, I called it. You can...
His style is really awesome. He's got some very witty stuff, some very clever jokes. And he also breaks down, I think, race stereotypes and religious stereotypes quite well within that. Within that opening, in fact, he kind of addresses all that. At the end of the day, you know, we're all the same. So talking about religion, talking about race, and talking about what is Australian is really important. So he breaks that down, that gets into some great gags and some great routines.
This is a messed up place to live. Like this one night, this drunk bogan just barges into my house and he just starts yelling and yelling. Like I couldn't understand a single word he was saying. And that was the first time I found myself in a cultural situation where I had to tell an Australian to either speak English or get out. My onstage me is really similar to the offstage me. When I'm on stage, I like to be as natural as possible. You know, just keep it the same. My biggest comedy influences, a lot of guys from the US. You got like Mike Birbiglia, John Mulaney, Bill Burr, and some guys who like the US circuit, like Rory Scovel and Sam Morril. I'm a really big fan of those guys. Now, my goals in comedy are to you know, make enough money to live, and you know, see more of the world, travel. Yeah. It's been really fun. Dave Callan's been really fun so far as a director. Yeah, he's been really serious and really wants to, you know, get down work, and it feels like he really cares about the show and wants to see everyone do well. Yeah,
he's going to be amazing. He's second up in the lineup at the moment, and yeah, I can't wait to see him as well in front of a crowd, because we've only kind of done the workshops within the preparation period. So to see him fly in front of a crowd is going to be a great thing for the first time. Yeah.
Comedy Zone is at Trades Hall this year at Old Council Chambers. It runs from the 30th of March until the 23rd of April.